Alright, ladies and gentlemen, sneak peek number 3 for the August update is here. I am super excited about this one because we're getting a 3-in-1 special. 3 characters that we haven't been able to use outside of Shadowland in years. A good 4 or 5 years. They're finally getting major power-ups, and you guys know when it comes to old characters getting major power-ups, I am here for it. I thoroughly enjoyed my time playing with Jane Foster, and I'm hoping that the same will be true for these 3 super villains. So let's take a look at the trailer that we got today because it's a bit different than what we're generally used to. Usually they give us about 8 to 10 seconds of a trailer. This time they gave us almost 40 seconds of pure sauce. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that trailer looked really cool to me. The only thing I gotta say is Juggernaut looks a little sluggish. If you take a look at how slow he's moving there, I hope that's not an indicator that he's gonna be like a very slow moving character, because we already have issues with people like Storm being very slow. Now, I haven't played with Juggernaut in-game in quite some time, so I don't know how slow he really is in the grand scheme of things. He doesn't feel that slow, to be honest with you, right? He doesn't feel as slow as somebody like Storm. So hopefully them giving him this new Stonebreaker uniform isn't going to make him slower. Just pointing that out, it does look a little sluggish there, but maybe they slowed it down for dramatic effect. I am going to say, though, I really like Titania. She looks kind of badass. Right? The breaker of men. Are you into dominatrix, boys? You better be, because this girl is gonna break your back. Anyways, also really like the fact that we get to see Absorbing Man, and he looks like a savage. I don't know about you guys, but to me he looks like a savage. I wish we got the facial shot, the front side to see what, but like he looks really dope. And I'm looking forward to this update because of the fact that not only are these characters getting uniforms, but since it's a 3-fer, more than likely they're going to be awakened together. This is dope. This means for the first time in a long time, we're going to be getting awakened characters, and the awakened characters are going to be getting uniforms in that exact same update. That is amazing. And to me, that is way better than what they've currently been doing, where they gave Scourge and Angela a transcended skill but no uniforms. So they're basically unplayable for the most part. And then they did the same thing for Little Nova and Nadia, and so on and so on and so forth. The list continues. Hopefully, this is a sign of things to come, where characters that are going to be transcended in an update are all getting uniforms. This also means that this update is going to be pretty big, because so far we've seen a uniform for Hulk, plus we know Hulk is going to get tier 4. Then we have 3 new uniforms here, plus these guys are going to be transcended. And then if we look at the pattern, usually there's 2 tier 3s. So my guess is Sin, aka Scotty, is going to be revealed as a speed tier 3 and a uniform. Plus, there's still another tier 4 to come. Things are looking really spicy. Maybe even another tier 3. Just saying. Looks like this is going to be a very big update. Let's not forget Gore, World Boss Legend. Lots of things coming for the August update, as opposed to the July update that kind of felt dry. 5 weeks of, well, I guess I wouldn't say maps absolute boredom, because I enjoyed playing with Jane Foster. Thor was pretty good as well, even though I had to wait a little bit to get Thor to tier 4. That's fine. Storm, strong, but you know, slow, so that's a problem. However, this update looks like it's gonna have something for everyone, or maybe not for everyone, but something for a lot of people, because we're gonna get a mutant update for Juggernaut, who is a fan favorite. Unfortunately, Juggernaut is a paywall character, and that's a bummer, because Storm just got an upgrade and the uniform was locked behind a paywall, so that's a problem. So because of this, some people might hate the fact that Juggernaut is getting a uniform. But on the plus side, Titania and Absorbing Man are both free-to-play character. Granted, they don't have as big of a fan base. However, Hulk is getting tier 4, and Hulk is, and always has been, completely free to play. And let's be honest, who would you rather get? Juggernaut, Absorbing Man, Titania, or Hulk? Most people are going to be happy with Hulk getting tier 4 in a badass uniform. So as long as they deliver on Hulk's uniform and his tier 4, for most people, these guys getting an upgrade is cool and all, but Hulk is gonna steal the show. However, we do have a little bit of bad news. Looking at this last line of text here, I don't think we're getting a sneak peek tomorrow, but I would say it's almost a 100% chance that we're getting Scotty, because she's the one that triggers the events of Fear itself, where Hulk, Juggernaut, Titania, Absorbing Man, and all these guys get the hammers. So it would make absolutely no sense for her to not get a uniform and a tier 3. So don't panic, even though it says we will announce the details to the update details to come, which generally means no more sneak peeks until the mid-month patch. More than likely the mid-month patch, which is going to drop maybe a week or 2 weeks after this initial update here, that's going to land next week Wednesday. More than likely Scotty is going to get a uniform and a tier 3. Okay, now for any of you guys who are wondering where these looks are coming from for these guys, it's the exact same Fear Itself run that we got the Hulk uniform from. As you can see, we have Kurt, the Breaker of Stone, which is Juggernaut. This guy's actually a savage. Unfortunately, we don't get to see as much of Juggernaut as I would have liked to see, especially considering how powerful he is without the hammer. And the hammer is basically just an amplifier, right? It just takes what's already there and makes it even more OP. So it's unfortunate that we don't really get to see as much of Juggernaut or of Titania. As you can see, we have Skirn, the Breaker of Men, which she looks absolutely badass. Way more badass in the comics than she looks in the trailer. I'm not gonna lie, the trailer looks a little stiff. Like right here, she looks amazing. Even so much so that Absorbing Man was immediately afraid of her when she picks up the hammer. Look how big she got right here, man. She about to dominate this guy. But when he got his hammer, this is what he looks like. I think it looks really cool with the chain and stuff. You can see it's a little bit different though, because part of his body is transformed in the trailer that they showed us, as opposed to here his body isn't transformed. But his name is Absorbing Man, so you can assume that the reason why one of his arms is transformed in the trailer is because he absorbed some of the materials around him. The only thing that sucked is between Juggernaut, Titania, and Absorbing Man, they didn't really get any major fights against anybody top tier that's worth mentioning. They were just basically used as tools to spread fear to power up the Serpent. So that's kind of a bummer, because I would have loved to see how much stronger these guys got relative to some of the already established characters like Thor, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, etc. And with that badass title, I hope they go in and completely revamp Absorbing Man's kit, because his kit is very much so outdated. The only thing you can really use this man for is Shadowland. Maybe you could squeeze out a clear against, I don't know, World Boss Ultimate Stage 99 if you have really, really good cards, but your cards are carrying you at this point. The kit is just very, very bad. I think the only good thing he has here is damage immunity for 8 seconds, but 20-second cooldown. I guess the Reflect is nice, right? But besides that, I think he got some bind and stun action on, I believe his 2 has a stun. I think it's a hidden stun, and he has bind as well. But yeah, he needs a massive overhaul. Hopefully he keeps the super armor. Super armor is good. The all defense is good. His tier 2 passive. No, look at this. The damage reduction is nice, but his tier 2 passive is basically like a frenzy buff that most characters in today's age get on like their 3rd skill or something. As for Juggernaut, I think what they need to do for Juggernaut, I would say give him more damage reduction. Even though he has 25 here, I think Juggernaut should be able to tank, I would say, most characters in the game, with the exception of Hulk, right? Even if they're a blast character, I would like to see him be able to tank like a one shot from Adam Warlock. So like Adam Warlock's 2 skill that would literally kill pretty much anybody. I would love to see Juggernaut be able to tank that. I think for him to do that, he would need maybe like kind of like Hela's uniform bonus on his uniform, so he takes less damage from heroes. That would be really, really cool, because Juggernaut doesn't really work in a team in most of his comic runs. He just comes in. He's the Juggernaut, baby. He just crushes fools, right? So it would be cool to see something like that on Juggernaut. Do more damage to heroes, take less damage from heroes. But I guess that would kind of cuck him in World Boss Legend, because World Boss Legends, they're generally villains, right? But he already has damage accumulation. Granted, it's not the highest amount, but he does already have damage accumulation on his 2. I think she also has damage accumulation. So from the 3 characters that are getting an upgrade, he's the only one that doesn't have some form of damage accumulation. So it would be nice to see how they actually revamp these characters. It will tell us a lot, because lately we've been seeing that characters that are getting a tier 4, they aren't really getting too much on their uniforms, and the power that they get is really just coming from them getting to level 72, level 80, and then tier 4, versus what we saw with Jane Foster. Not too sure if it was an MCU power boost that she got. If that was the case, it'll be interesting to see how these guys were not necessarily, well, Juggernaut, I would say maybe not a Z tier. Most people would consider these guys like Z tiers, right? Like Titania and Absorbing Man. I would say Juggernaut's probably like a, not an S tier character, but like maybe an A or a B tier. You let me know. I really like Juggernaut, so I'm gonna build him regardless. I'm gonna transcend him regardless. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do for these guys. Y'all let me know in the comments, man. I'll catch you in the next one. I'm excited.